baby. Okay, that's too much. Alright, welcome to my shop. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about my lathe. Never really talked about what I turn on before. I have two lathes. You can see one over my shoulder is a little Harbor Freight, and my main lathe is a Jet 1642. 1.5 horsepower, 110 volt, 16-inch bowl, I guess I could put on it, 42-inch bed length. I really quite like it. I showed you some of the capabilities and limitations of it right there as we started. I've got a big piece of ash on here. It's about 15 inches in diameter, oblong, out of shape. I was running about 495 RPM. I turned it up a tiny bit to 595. You can see the lathe wanted to walk across the shop, which I didn't like that. I turned it right back down. And the other thing is, you can see when I was pulling in here on a really deep full circle cut with a 1/2 inch gauge or 1/2 inch gouge, I could actually stop the lathe. I could overpower the motor on it, which is not something I try to do on purpose. It's not something that I actually want to do. Just kind of for demonstration there. Usually means you're getting too much cut, or you've got a dull tool, or you're getting to the danger zone. So I don't really want to be doing that. But I'll flip the camera around here and show you the different features on the lathe. Here's a nice close-up of the motor and the headstock on the Jet 1642. You can see I have an adjuster here for RPMs, on-off button. So I pull the on-off button out, I'm at 0 RPMs. I can turn it up slowly to get to 195. Where I was turning is about 265. One thing that's kind of a limitation about this lathe that I didn't really think about too much, but I've seen on other workers, is the on-off button is right here, which if the piece of work is turning and I'm standing on the opposite side of it, I have to kind of reach past the line of fire to turn the lathe on and off. Not bad, but the lathes that have the movable control switches may be a tiny bit safer. And then in here you can see I've got the ability for double belt system, and I believe I am on the slower set of speeds, with the bigger pulley down here and the smaller one up here. So my range isn't as absolutely wacko high as it could be, but I've never found the need to go more than a couple thousand RPM. There's a cage underneath here. There's a knockout bar goes right down the middle of this handle. The other thing some people have mentioned is this lathe has just a small wheel here instead of a nice big round diameter wheel to adjust the lathe. I've never found it to be an issue. If I need to get something off the lathe, this is the lock knob, so I can lock it, pull it off that way. The headstock slides up and down. Let's see, so the headstock slides up and down the ways, and the tailstock is over on this side. You can see fairly standard locking handle here, locking bar here, just in order to release that. This is how you adjust the up and down on the tool rest, and that's kind of the way it works. The back of the lathe has this electronic variable speed inverter that says service only. Come down here and look at the legs. The legs have a place built in, and I can only expect this is for 2x4s to go across, or some bed or shelf to go across down there. The reason that's nice is you could then fill the base of the lathe up with some kind of built-in cabinet, or fill it full of sandbags. I've seen people do that. But other than that, I'm happy with the Jet 1640 electronic variable speed lathe, JWL 1642 EVS, 1.5 horsepower TEFC motor. So I just was turning this, working on it, thinking of a few other things. Why did I choose this lathe? Well, I chose the biggest lathe I could possibly afford at the time. So I got this off a local site. It's very similar to Craigslist. Bought a second-hand for $1,300. It was a big step up from the Harbor Freight Central Pneumatic lathe. One other thing I didn't mention is it's got 1.25 inch right here, I believe. I'll double check, but I don't think it's 1.5 inches. I think it's 1.25 inch, so it's very standard. This is a Morse 2 taper in here, which is another thing that's very standard. And then as I look at the side of the lathe, the high speed is 0 to 3200, and the low speed is 0 to 1200. So I know I have gone up to 3200, and then as I look at it right here, I am on the high speed. My belt is on the high speed in there, the left. I've been happy with the lathe. I haven't bought a lot of accessories. I just kind of tried.